What is going on, guys? Welcome to the live stream. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the live stream. Thank you guys for coming into the live stream. Just checking out here Bitcoin. We'll take a look here at Bitcoin real quick. Just taking a look here at Bitcoin on the daily, right? Let's see here. What's up, Samuel? Thanks for coming to the live stream. Just started a couple seconds ago, so we should be good to go. This is Bitcoin on the daily, right? We can see we're getting some resistance on that 100 MA. So let's see. I mean, we can get a pull back to 94K and then eventually break it, right? What's up? What's up, bro? But you guys can see why I was bullish the last week or so when we were down here. Right, you can see we're starting to break out. Brian says, I just entered shorts. Next stop, 74K. I believe we'll go higher before 74K. If we even go to 74K. So, I mean, I see Bitcoin going to potentially 100K. This level right here. So, be careful. If you guys are shorting, longing, be careful. For sure. Have a good plan. Make sure you have some good risk management. Your wiki cap prediction came true. Really? Let me know what was the. I mean, I forgot what was the prediction. Did I just like check out the charts? Let me know what the prediction was. That's awesome to hear. I mean, you know, last time I was live, I said, you know, Bitcoin was more bullish for sure. So just, you know, be careful if you're shorting right now. Because I do see more upside for Bitcoin. Is just we can have a pullback to 94K, 300 level, and then continue this uptrend. Yeah. Thank you guys for the hearts. Thank you for the likes too. Honestly, I expect it. I actually do expect it in 2026. Right, possibly spring to the summer. to the fall. Thank you guys for the gifts. Good to see Marco. Thank you, bro. Good to see you too. But yeah, Bitcoin, now we had 97K today, but you can see why we got some resistance, because on the daily we got the 100 MA right there, right, in purple. So we're getting resistance right now at the 100 MA on the daily, so we can have a slow pullback to 94K level. Right, so we can have something like this, right, where we pull back here, flip that as support, and then, you know, we break it. That's a scenario right there that could possibly happen. Tap, tap. Thank you, Angela. Man, you guys been killing it today. Thank you, man. We'll take a look at ETH as well. I've been doing pretty good, man. How about you? A big reason why I haven't been live streaming is because, like I said, this room is cold during the winter. But it got warmer recently, so been doing some live streams now. But I have been posting content, if not in on TikTok, YouTube. So yeah, I believe altcoin season. I really do. Do you see XRP falling any further? Man, the thing about XRP, man, I mean, only like, and this goes with a lot of coins, only if Bitcoin breaks down to 80K, then yeah. But if it doesn't, you know, we're going to look back in time and see this was the bottom right here for XRP, bottoming on the 21 on the monthly right there in blue. But let's say Bitcoin does break 80K and goes into the 70s and the 60s. I mean, there's still a chance XRP can revisit that 50 MA here on the monthly, which is around 110. So there's a possibility. Did you get into Zora? Can you take a look? Sure, I'll take a look. And honestly, I didn't buy Zora, but I'll take a look at it right now. We'll see how it's looking. Yeah. So I didn't buy Zora. But good thing I didn't buy it, because I would have probably been down here. Man, I mean, this coin doesn't look like it has a bottom yet. Right? It's not really reacting with the markets just yet either. You know, not looking bullish just yet, right? We've been in this massive, if you look on the daily, we just, every time we get to that 21, 25 MA, lower high, lower high, lower high. So right now we're testing the previous low. Either we do have some type of double bottom and then we break above that, right? And this could be a nice bottom here. Or we do come back here, put in a lower high, and then we break it, right? So I would say right now it's not a bad time to buy, honestly, because there's a big probability that it does double bottom here with the markets pushing up, and it kind of follows the market slower. But again, it's a risk on you're willing to take. On the monthly, you can see this is a very weak candle. You can see how we wick all the way up here and then come right back down. So far, not a really a good candle on the monthly. Again, we got 16 days left, so it can change, but 2 week looks pretty awful as well. Yeah, I mean, so honestly, it looks really bad right now, but looking at the daily, there's a big chance it could double bottom here. And then the cherry on top, if you want more certainty, once it does break above the 21 and 25 on the daily, kind of like it did right here, right? It needs to break it and hold it and start closing above it, right? It needs to break it, start closing above it, create support, and then eventually it's gonna push up higher. And honestly, a lot of times, you know, we usually do that once we're in this massive downtrend, just getting rejected. At some point, we do break it and hold it as support. So now, you know, not bad as a risk. Just understand that it can keep putting in new lows. Nah, I haven't heard of USOR. Thank you guys for the likes. Almost 3,000 likes. We got 60 people here. Bro, before horse here. It's gonna be very interesting to see Bitcoin next year, the horse year. It really is gonna be interesting. But I'm bullish. I'm still bullish for 2026. A lot of people are expecting Bitcoin to do the head and shoulders here. Some type of head and shoulders formation. So if you do come up to 102, 103K, you can see there's going to be a lot of resistance here. Right. The Solana returns to $200 anytime soon. We'll take a look at Solana. Yeah, I mean Solana, I would say for it to return to $200 anytime soon. Let's go to the daily, right? I would say it needs to break that 100 MA and start closing above it on the daily, which is in purple right here, and that price is around 150. So very similar to Bitcoin. It's going to get near that. It's already near it, but it's going to get near it. It's going to get some resistance. Once we start, once we get that pullback and then eventually break it, we start closing above that 100 MA, just like it did right here, right? You can see that it was support at one time. Once we start doing that, then yeah, we'll probably push up heavy into the 170 and 200 bucks. Maybe even by spring, right? Again, the crypto market moves fast, so we got to see some bullish price action right there. If we do hit all-time high, I don't see more than 150K, to be honest. You think so for Bitcoin? It depends on the speed, right? The speed that we get there. So there's a lot of scenarios that could play out. Happy New Year. Thank you, Property Protection. Thank you for coming to the live stream. What do you think about GRT? I think GRT is pretty bad. I mean, I have some GRT, but it's just been awful, right? Based on the charts. I haven't been keeping up with their fundamentals or what they're doing, but again, that's why I love streaming the charts, because the charts are really just a reflection of the project. But this is a really awful chart, right? We're going to need to, I mean, the first step here is to finish this monthly with a tweezer bottom. So we need GRT to close on the monthly around basically 5 cents. Right? If you can close above 5 cents, that's step one. We get those tweezer bottoms. And then we can work our way back up here to 8 cents here, right? Back to this level and kind of have some type of V-shape recovery. So, and by the way, for people on YouTube, I got Toshi and Turbo video coming out tomorrow. I'll give you an update here, but if you guys like Toshi and Turbo, definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel. Yeah. Yeah, I'll check out Sui as well. And if you guys are new to me, definitely follow. I do a lot of crypto live streams. If you also want to trade with a futures bonus, check out my futures bonus campaign right here. It ends in about 2 days. And basically how futures bonus works is the futures bonus, you basically keep what you profit. Okay, so you can check it out. It's in my profile or it's pinned. And it ends in about 2 days, so definitely take advantage of it. Yeah, I'm still buying. I still been buying Turbo too. My YouTube is honestly just Sir Lewis. You can just search Sir Lewis. I have around 39K subscribers. So if you guys want to help me get to 40K, I'm at 39K right now. So definitely subscribe. All right, so someone asked for a Sui. We'll take a look here at Sui. And then we'll take a look at Toshi Turbo as well. So you can see Sui is pushing up here to that Fibonacci zone here that I have laid out right there. Right. We're getting some resistance. But this is, I mean, this is a really bullish monthly candle. And we can eventually keep pushing up here. You know, even if we close around here, we can push up here in February to around 211. To even a little bit higher, right? To 230 around here. But I don't expect Sui to keep pushing up higher anytime soon, right? Max 230 here in February or so. Because this is a massive point of control for Sui right here. So the bearish scenario is Sui does push up here, right? We continue this into February. And then possibly Bitcoin goes to 103, 104K level and puts in a lower high. Sui is going to do something similar and then eventually come down. If Bitcoin does come down and break 80K, right? We could see something like that happening for sure. Kind of like a massive inverse head and shoulders. But short term, I'm bullish for Sui. I see it continue to push up to $2.20, 30 cents. And this is also the first time Sui's oversold on the monthly on stochastic. So that's really good to see. Man, it's going to take a lot for Sui to go below $1, right? Again, that 116 target, 74 cents. It definitely can. If Bitcoin goes back into the 70s, the 60s, then we could possibly potentially see Sui to 76 cents, 80 cents around here. I was buying a lot at 138. Pissed it was climbing. Yeah, man, I know that feeling, right? You want to keep buying here at these low levels. And shout out to everyone who's been buying here when with this super bearish sentiment, right? And again, I'm not saying the bottom is in yet, right? There's still a lot of uncertainty here. We got to see what Bitcoin does here. But I feel like too many people are saying that we're going to do some type of head and shoulders for Bitcoin. I feel like it's becoming too obvious, right? I mean, a lot of people that I follow on YouTube, a lot of people on everywhere, basically. Everyone's saying the head and shoulders, and usually when things are just oversaid like that and kind of obvious, a lot of times it doesn't play out. So we'll see if that does happen. And then the flip side, Ethereum is kind of doing something opposite, right? Ethereum is kind of doing a inverse head and shoulders that's playing out here. So Ethereum is kind of doing, you know, inverse head and shoulders to the upside. So Bitcoin update. You want a Bitcoin update? We'll definitely take a look here. Let's get a Bitcoin update. I really like this. I really like this on the monthly. We're getting bullish divergence here, right? Putting a higher low and then a lower low here on stochastic. That's bullish divergence. I really like that. Right, we got bearish divergence, but then on the flip side, we're getting bullish divergence. So that's really good to see here for Bitcoin going into the oversold territory while putting in a higher low here. So I do like that for Bitcoin. I also like the fact that on the monthly, we bounced on the 21 and the 25 right there, MAs. Right, we got the 21 and the 25. And look, when we came down here, I was screaming. I was in the live stream screaming like, look, we're probably gonna get some type of bounce here on the 25 MA. Okay, and we can see that we did get a bounce here. The question is, does Bitcoin really do put in a lower high and follow a Head and shoulders here, which a lot of people are asking for. Right? And I can't guarantee that. I can't guarantee what will happen, but it's really going to depend once Bitcoin, the price action for Bitcoin, once we do come up here to this zone. But I just knew it would come up here to this zone. That's why I was bullish short to even medium term, because I knew it was going to push up, because we were at massive moving averages on multiple time frames. Like I just showed you, the monthly on the 21, the 25, the 2-week, right on the 50 right there in green. Then we got the weekly on the 100. I remember coming out here in the live stream and telling you guys that. So the big target here for Bitcoin is that that 100K, 103K level, because we got all these important moving averages here waiting for it. Especially the 50 MA. So this is going to be an important zone, and honestly, we can continue to pump up here, right? And then kind of create a range here before it figures out whether it wants to go up or down. I mean, that can definitely play out here going into February. New subscriber. I just don't expect Bitcoin to break right through. I would be very surprised if we really break right through it, right? Do something kind of like that. That would mean that there's a lot of buyers buying Bitcoin for some reason. Is Bitcoin pulling back to 94K? I mean, it definitely looks like it, because on the daily we're getting some resistance on the 100 MA right there. You see that right there? So you could potentially pull back here kind of quick to the previous resistance here, that first pullback that we had. Right, we can come back, flip that as support, and then continue putting in a higher low. So yeah, I'll say 94, what is it, like 94,300, 94,500. So especially too, since we're heading into the weekend, usually Bitcoin likes to pull back or go down during Friday, Saturday, Sunday time. Yeah. What's up, Joy? Joy, let me know if you're still here. I'll check out SPX. Just let me know if you're still here. I don't know when you commented that. But yeah, Bitcoin pushing up. Let's take a look at some other charts here. You still here? I got you, bro. I got you. Just wanted to make sure. I'll take a look at SPX for you. There we go. Crespo, what's up, Crespo? Shout out to Crespo. Thanks for coming to the live stream. Taking a look here at your favorite altcoins. Right now, we're taking a look at SPX. This is one of those meme coins. So we'll start with the monthly and work our way down here. And thanks to Gav's dad. Thank you for the gifts. As always, shout out to Gav's dad for all the nice gifts, all the nice flowers. I'll take a look at Toshi next if you want. So like SPX, I like the fact that a lot of coins are doing this. They pumped up here near the previous open, and then they come back down. So if we can continue this pump, we got 16 days left. We close above here. We get these tweezer bottoms. That's very bullish for the start of a pivot, right? To eventually continue into February to the next Fibonacci level at 83 cents. So far, you know, we're halfway there basically, but we already wicked up there. If we can close around there, get those tweezer bottoms, that's a very good for a monthly closing. And now let's work our way down here to the daily. Wow, thank you. Shout out to Gav's at 117 roses. Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Every time I come on the live, Gav's at always supporting. I'm super bullish on ETH, man. I'm bullish on ETH. If you want a safe coin that can still make you a ton of money, Ethereum for sure. Okay. I think Bitcoin is going to go higher. We'll do a Bitcoin price prediction in a few too. So you can see right here on the weekly. The weekly is looking pretty bullish too because we're trying to break out of this range. And most likely we're going to put in the lower high right here and then break it. And then our next, like I said, our next target for SPX is 82 cents, 83 cents right there. So I'm pretty bullish on it. I also like the fact that on the week, we've been very oversold. And now you can see how we're breaking out of oversold territory, right? We're starting to break out of oversold. That tells me that the momentum is changing. So while we've been consolidating here, we're starting to break above oversold on the weekly. That tells me price is probably going to follow. So, and the daily too. I mean, the daily looks pretty bullish too. Kind of like a flag, right? So, you know, once we get the breakout, get the measured move. Look at that. Perfect, right? Measured move right to my Fibonacci target, 83 cents. So that's even more confirmation here for SPX once it breaks out of this to follow that to 80 cents. So that's my prediction for SPX, but I'm pretty bullish on it. I think a lot of coins will eventually catch up with the market with Bitcoin pushing up here. Yeah. And also, again, if you guys want to trade, check out my campaign. They just gave me a campaign here because they love my live streams. It's in the profile as well as in the pinned comment. And basically, you'll get futures bonus. It ends in 2 days too, by the way. And the futures bonus, I actually have the platform right here. I could put some trades live too, by the way. But it's a great platform. Lets you use leverage. And again, with the futures bonus, you keep what you profit. So you don't really lose. You use that. And if you profit 20 bucks, 100 bucks, you can withdraw it. Or you can buy other coins. Anytime, Joey. Anytime, bro. What about Gala? We'll take a look at Gala. Bitcoin dominance might just go on its way on its next. Yeah, that's why I think last time I checked it looked like that for sure for Bitcoin dominance. Shout out to Crespo for reminding us here. You know, Bitcoin dominance. A lot of people think it's out, but you know, Bitcoin making that move to 150K plus, breaking its all-time high. What I would expect is Bitcoin dominance to shoot up, right? Because if Bitcoin does have some unexpected massive move, I don't expect all coins to really follow right away. So we'll see. I mean, last, 2020, we hit these levels, right? So it's definitely not impossible to hit those levels again up here. Around 70% around there. Oh, you think it's going up with the price moving to the downside? Yeah, that's also a scenario that can happen too. Obviously, that scenario is basically all coins are going to be dumping at a faster rate. Right, so let's say Bitcoin goes to 74K, 70K. All coins are going to be probably obliterated if Bitcoin dominance goes up in that scenario. Right. Wait, let's take a look at Gala. And Gala's, I mean, it still looks awful. No guarantees this coin can survive, right? There really is no guarantees. It's super risk on. The first step with a lot of coins, the first step is getting those tweezer bottoms, right? If we can get a close engulfing the previous candle, the previous month, that's the first step here. But it's going to have a massive recovery. You can see how we broke the lows here from the bear market. And we're just in this whole new range, right? We're in this whole new, we're getting price discovery on the opposite side. Instead of getting price discovery breaking its all-time highs, we're getting price discovery and putting in some new lows here. So, and look, I would say Gala, other coins too, if you see Bitcoin really break out and then you see altcoins break out too, and Gala or some other altcoins are kind of struggling, right? Kind of not really reacting to the market, I'll probably say that's a sign it's probably not going to move up, right? It's probably dead. So the good sign, you want to see Gala push up when other altcoins are pushing up. You want to see it start pushing up to these levels here. Whenever people ask me about holding top altcoins long term, I just show them dots. Yeah, that's a great example. Dot was, one of the top altcoins. And it's if you look at Dot right now, let's take a look at it. It definitely came down a good bit, right? But it's still, I don't know if it's top 20, but you can see how, I mean, Dot really had a massive base here around $4, $5, and then it lost that base and went below $2, right? It's actually, it looks very similar to Gala, really. It's trying to create tweezer bottoms here, but it's in this whole other range here. Very similar to Gala. Not gonna go crazy. We'll see. I mean, like I said, the first step is getting those tweezer bottoms and getting some type of V-shaped recovery, right? Something kind of like that. But my number one warning to you guys is when the market moves up, Bitcoin moves up, and then Ethereum moves up and other altcoins move up and your altcoins aren't moving, that's not a good sign, right? That's not a good sign. So when that's happening, Polkadot better be moving up too, right? It better be moving up with the other altcoins. Or else it's done, right? Oh yeah. Polkadot definitely used to be top 10. Yeah. Anytime, Chris. Anytime. Let's take a look at some other charts here. Total market cap still holding 3.22 trillion. So I mean, when you see, the next big point for a total market cap is that 3.40 trillion level, right? So once we get to near 3.40 trillion, maybe Bitcoin's around 103K or something, maybe even higher, possibly, right? We'll see. It depends if altcoins push up more. But once we're in this level right there, it's gonna be a lot of resistance. Yeah. Dash. We'll take a look at Dash as well. Do you see a meme super cycle this year? I believe a lot of meme coins can take off. I don't think it's gonna be like the last meme coin cycles. I think it'll be like, certain meme coins. So I don't think it'll be like it was before with a ton of meme coins just blowing up. But again, like I'm bullish on Toshi, I'm bullish on Turbo. Let's take a look at Dash. Yeah. Been bearish AF lately and still am, but I'm looking for a rebuttal. Let's hear it. Yeah, man, I streamed about a week ago and I said I'm bullish short to medium term. And it played out. Bitcoin 96K, hit 97K today, and I could see it going higher. But long term, man, I really don't know, right? It depends on how Bitcoin reacts with that 50 moving average on the weekly, right? The weekly moving average. So I'm kind of bearish too, right? Because we could potentially put in a lower high there, you know, based on the structure. So I'm kind of in the same boat. I could see Bitcoin putting in a lower high there, breaking its bottom and going back to its previous all-time high range, which is 60K, 69, 65, 55K, right? If that happens, then I'll definitely be a lot more bullish because I could see that's my target for Bitcoin if it does break down to bottom near that range right there. But we'll see. Bitcoin dominance is at 59% right now, 59 point something. I'm watching that moving average too, and those monthly and yearly time frames spooky. Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's gonna be interesting to see once Bitcoin starts to make contact with it. What's up, Michael? How you been, bro? So look, Dash is it's dashing, right? It's dashing up. And it's great to see Dash doing this in this positive year, right? Being came out 2013, the same year with Dogecoin. I wish Dogecoin was doing something similar, but 81 bucks here, breaking its previous resistance level here, right? Let me look here. You know, we'll probably pull back slightly, back to like 60, 65. You know, we could probably possibly have like some type of cup and handle and then break out more. All right, so just be careful right now. You know, don't FOMO into right now. We're testing a previous resistance point here where we got that massive pullback for Dash back to the 30s. So we can get a slight pullback to the 60s and then put in that lower high. Okay. So we might not just break out just yet. But long term, it looks pretty bullish here for continue this uptrend to 100, right? 145 level. Yeah, pretty bullish on Dash. What's up, Stefano? How you doing, bro? Got a limit order on Jasmine. I'll take a look at Jasmine. Next cycle or two would be the perfect time for altcoin season once everybody gives up. Yeah, that's true. I definitely agree with it. I mean, it feels kind of like right recently people have given up, but Bitcoin goes to 60K. I feel like a lot of people would clearly give up. Marsh says he's shorting Dash up a good amount. That's great, man. Just remember to take profits, right? Especially if Dash goes into the 60. It's $60. Now, yeah, I'll cover silver. We got Cardano. So let's take a look first here at Jasmine. You said you had a 83, right? Limit order at 83. I mean, it does look like Jasmine wants to come down, so you know, it definitely does. It definitely looks like it wants to come down and test the previous lows here. All right, then we lose that. We can come possibly to even 0.80, but let's take a look at the 4-hour. Because we broke our low here, right? This is a big red candle, so yeah, I can definitely see Jasmine coming down to that zone for sure. For sure. So pretty bearish on Jasmine short term. Let's just start trading equities and metals. Like, what are we doing? That's hilarious. Yeah, let's start buying let's just start buying rocks, guys. Start buying gold. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I can see Jasmine going there slowly. All right, we'll take a look at Cardano and then silver. Cardano's starting to recover, right? It looks like it wants to recover here. You can see how we're shifting momentum here, right? Stochastic starting to cross up on the daily as well, right? We had that, you know, this is bullish structure right here. We, you know, broke out of this trend, and then we got the pullback, but we didn't put in a low. We put in a higher low, and kind of right now it kind of looks like we're doing some type of cup and handle, right? So Cardano looks pretty bullish here, short term. I mean, it's down so much. It has to go up at some time, right? At some point. And I mean, overall, long term, I see Cardano pushing back up to the 50s, 50 cents. And you see all the MAs waiting right there for it on the weekly. So by the time it gets there, it's going to be testing all these MAs here, maybe lower around 53, 50 cents. So it's going to be a big event for Cardano. But I'm pretty bullish short term. I could see our Cardano pushing 50 cents soon. But yeah, this is Bitcoin on the weekly. I mean, this is what I'm looking for here. Okay, this is why I was bullish about a week or two ago. Bitcoin was holding that 100 convincingly right there in purple. Now we're working our way up here to that 50 MA, 50 to 21 and 25. Which is around 101 to 102 to even 104K. It's going to be interesting to see what Bitcoin does right there. Uranium is the next one to moonshoot. You can bank on it. I'm long uranium and Nux. You think so? I gotta definitely take a look at it for sure. I heard of it too. Let me actually, so let's take a look at silver. Is it just SIL? I believe it's just SIL, right? Yeah. Wow. Let me just there we go, yeah. It's crazy. I think last time I came in the live stream, I did say, look, silver had some more upside here, and we're hitting my exact Fibonacci target right there. Remember? Yeah, because I remember silver was somewhere in the $70 level, right? Somewhere in the 70s. And I was like, look, you know, silver can go much higher here, hit my Fibonacci target. And I would even say it can definitely go even higher and hit that next Fibonacci target at $128, right? 130, 129. But we might catch a pullback here, right? You got your pullback to 75, 76. And then we eventually break it. Could possibly be a scenario here for silver. Just like we had a slight pullback right here. You can get a pullback back to $80, $79. And then once we break above 90, we make that run to 128, 130. So shout out to people who bought silver, who's been buying the last years. And one thing too to point out, the SPX, right? The SPX stock market, all-time highs. This is why I'm bullish also on the crypto markets. Precious metals is up a ton. Massive uptrend. The SPX is up a ton. Massive uptrend. Let's take a look at the vote. The vote, like everything is up except crypto, but I believe crypto will eventually catch up. I think the reason why is because it's It's a risk on asset. And I think the number one sign is the Russell, right? Once the Russell starts to move up, and I think it is. Let me see if I can find the Russell here. I think it's here somewhere. Because the Russell is basically like all coins in the stock market, basically. I know I had it here somewhere. Oh yeah, right here. So I mean, look at the Russell. Look how bullish that looks right there for the Russell. Massive month, right? So I mean, honestly, guys, this makes me super bullish for a crypto. It really does. It really does. J. Anthony says, you think March will be a good time to buy? I think a trap is on its way. Yeah, that's a great question. And I'm gonna be honest, right? Just like I was honest last week, I came out and I was live streaming. I said, like, I'm bullish for Bitcoin, short to medium term. Now, long term, I want to see how it reacts here to the 50-week MA, the 21, the 25 here, around 100K to 104K, this level. So yeah, I mean, depending on the time frame, depending on how it reacts here, we could possibly put in a higher low here, and then in March crash down, right? Break the lows and go down to its previous all-time high level, all-time high zone. Okay, sometime in the March time frame, which is this zone. This is a scenario you got to be open-minded to, and I'm very open-minded to this scenario playing out. Okay, getting some type of head and shoulders. I mean, if Bitcoin does this, everyone's going to be saying, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone's going to be fully out. Okay. But basically all it's doing is it's coming down to its previous all-time high. Just basically what it did right here. Basically what Bitcoin did right here last cycle to the 2017, 2018 all-time high. That's what we did right there. So at some point we're going to come down there anyway. I'd rather just happen sooner than later. But I don't see Bitcoin going into like the 30s, which a lot of people have been saying recently. So I'm just showing you guys here a scenario, right? If we are bullish though, we break above this, close above it, maybe get a retest to flip it as support and then continue this uptrend here if we are bullish. I'm mainly bullish on ETH. I personally feel like the next 4 years ETH will outperform. Yeah, I'm bullish on ETH too, man. I really am. I think ETH is one of the most exciting coins out there because I really like its chart. It's a nice inverse head and shoulders right now that's playing out so far. And you can see, there's a lot of exciting things for ETH coming out. The ETF, right? The ETF staking as well. And honestly, I think everyone should have ETH, man. If you want a good safe coin, I think ETH is definitely one of them. They're all excited about tokenization because they can put equities and commodities on chain. The big dogs only care about Bitcoin. Listen to Brian Armstrong and Larry Fink speak. Yeah, I know. I listened to them speak a little bit. And I mean, that's what they all say. Just, they're mainly focused on Bitcoin and sometimes Ethereum. Can I do ETH? Yeah, I'll take a look at ETH here. But I mean, honestly, ETH looks really bullish. You know, the scenario, like let's say Bitcoin does something like that, right? We can push up here, you put in the lower high, and then Bitcoin goes to the 60s, maybe even 50s. Then yeah, I could see Ethereum possibly going back to 2000s. This zone right here, right? I could see something like that play out. So I mean, when ETH comes back up here to 3,700 level, it's going to be very interesting to see what it does. And I'm pretty sure Bitcoin will be around 100K, 104K. But again, it's not guaranteed, right? I'm giving you guys here a scenario. If we get some bearish price action here and put in a lower high here. But like I said, ETH is looking much more like an inverse head and shoulders than anything, right? And we know that's pretty bullish here. You break out, we're going to break out pretty big. So honestly, right now, I hold ETH. I feel safer holding ETH, being in ETH than being out of ETH. But hey, if it goes down lower, I'll buy more, right? I don't see it dumping down to like 1,000 plus, you know, having some massive dump. And also too, by the way, guys, if you are holding ETH long term, definitely stake it on a cold storage wallet, right? Don't stake it on Coinbase or centralized. The ones I recommend, I have them all in my link bio. I really like Trezor. I have my link for Trezor if you guys want to get Trezor. I prefer them over Ledger. And I also like OneKey too. So. Yeah, but ETH is definitely a safe play. Now let's do a Fibonacci here on ETH. I want to see I want to give you guys some possible targets for ETH, since you guys like ETH a lot. All right. And you can see this is why I love Fibonacci. If it wasn't for Fibonacci, I would have not bought the bottom here for ETH. I remember last time I bought a ton of ETH was when it was around this level right here, 1,600, 700. All right. While people were freaking out. I'm very happy I bought right there. Now, price prediction here, some targets, 7,703 to 9,500. I'm not saying this is the top, but this is definitely a target to take profits. It could definitely be a possible top for sure. Right, depending on the scenario where we're at in the market once ETH is up here. But these are targets I can definitely see ETH hitting. Now, if we have a super bullish market and ETH is super bullish, you know, it could possibly hit 15K even. All right, we come up here to 0.65. But again, right, you want to be taking profits down here because this could be a top. Again, I'm gonna be doing a lot of live streams along the way, right? Once ETH is pumping there, I'm gonna be giving you guys my opinions along the way. I can't give you ahead of times because we don't know the price action, the structure of everything, how the market is. And we'll take a look at Solana here too. Can you trust any altcoin on an exchange after October 10th? I still mess with meme coins though. Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, October 10th is a great example of that. I'm trying to own at least 2 ETH and own some Chainlink. Hey man, that's a great amount. You know, I have a humble amount of ETH as well, Bitcoin. And that's the thing, right? You holding ETH, whatever amount, 1 ETH, 2 ETH, whatever amount, make sure to stake it in a cold storage wallet. And you'll be earning ETH passively as well, right? And Chainlink's a great pick too. I mean, look, if the market takes off big, 15K could be even this year, but I'm not guaranteeing 15K. It depends on where the market is when we're around 7 to 10K, right? for Ethereum to 100K. I mean, I believe Ethereum will go to 100K, just not in the short term, right? Maybe next decade, we might see Ethereum 100K. But, you know, if Ethereum is successful, is a survivor long term, yeah, we'll definitely hit 100K. So, I mean, just imagine that, right? You have 2 Ethereum, 3 Ethereum, whatever amount, and you're earning, you're staking it when it's around 100K plus. Do you think this is the start of the bull run or just one last relief rally before hitting low? Great question by Alejandra. So, you know, like I said here, I said I'm bullish on Bitcoin short to medium term when we were around here in the 80s. But I'm very I'm gonna be honest, right? I'm very undecided here because we're coming back up here to test that 50 MA on the weekly as resistance. And last time this happened, last cycle, was very bearish. We put in a lower high and then we collapsed after. I don't think if we do get that lower high, I don't think we're going to have some massive collapse like this. But this is a scenario that can definitely happen here, putting in a lower high, right? Like you said, a relief rally to this zone and then breaking the lows. And the lowest I see Bitcoin going down to is its previous all-time high range, which is this right here. The previous all-time high range. This is the lowest range I see Bitcoin going down to. So maybe even 55K to 70K, 69K. Okay. Because you look back in history, that's basically what Bitcoin did last cycle. It went to its previous all-time high range from back in 2018, 2017. Boom. Right? So this is a scenario that could play out, but it's situational. You know, we got to see how Bitcoin is reacting once we're up here. If you see Bitcoin really shoot up, right? February, the springtime, we really shoot up, get a very bullish move above here, then come back down, flip it as support. And sometimes you could just tell if Bitcoin is bullish based on the price action, right? And the sentiment. If you really do see that, then it might be much more than a relief rally. I believe it. I believe it, man. I mean, guys, like, honestly, I believe you guys, everyone in here, I believe you guys can make life-changing money. I really do. There's just one thing you got to remember, and that's to take profits. Well, two things, right? One thing is you got to buy. You got to invest here when the sentiment is super low. And then you got to remember to take profits when the sentiment is super high. Rocky says 4-year cycle gone. I mean, look, at the moment we are following the 4-year cycle technically, but I believe we'll get a kind of like a surprise shock to a lot of bears with Bitcoin pushing up, proving that the 4-year cycle is done, right? That's my opinion. Hasn't happened yet, but we're still technically following the 4-year cycle. But like I said, instead of having a relief rally here and following the 4-year cycle down, I believe Bitcoin is going to surprise a lot of bears here. And that's the thing too. A lot of people are expecting a head and shoulders. I feel like everyone is saying it. Just so much people are saying a head and shoulders here for Bitcoin, and then down we go. I feel like it's just too obvious, but we'll see how it goes. You can see the monthly, we bounce on the 21, the 25. And also, too, I want to note this chart here, one of the most important charts in crypto that not a lot of people talk about, but is the USDT dominance, right? And this is the reason why I was bullish about a week ago. USDT dominance came to a major resistance point here. You can see right here, right? Major resistance point. Now we're dropping down. So if we are bearish for the crypto market, USDT dominance is dropping down, putting in a higher low somewhere around here, and then starting to work its way back up and going higher. That's just the scenario of Bitcoin going to possibly 103, 100K, and then breaking down to 70, 60K. Okay. Yeah. So many people are screaming that bears will be wrong. Yeah, I mean, if too many people are screaming, are saying the bears are wrong, then I guess we got more downside, right? Unfortunately, those guys are ruining it for the bulls. It's like, when would these guys learn, right? Every time they're bullish, the market goes down further, thanks to them. It's like, how much does the market have to go down for them to flip bearish, right? They're like Rocky. They're like Rocky in the Rocky movie that just keeps getting punches, and they're just like not giving up. And one thing I'll say too for the USDT dominance, I would say once we have a massive explosion, right? If it ever gets into this zone, you want to be taking profits in crypto. Okay. Whenever we get to this zone here for USDT dominance, you should be looking to take profits for whatever crypto you own. It's a valid indicator to rate if chat is bullish. Yeah, exactly. And vice versa. Open short if you see, open short if your friends are sending you screenshots, you know, that's a short signal right there. I just don't see why you would want to think before your cycle is done while it's still playing out. Why not just follow the Fourier cycle theory until it's broken? Yeah, I mean, the reason why, I feel like the Fourier cycle, again, just my opinion, is broken. Well, for one, there's a lot of bears that is, talking about this is kind of making it too obvious, right? And I feel like we're going to get kind of like a surprise shock, kind of like what happened with market moving down, right? And not having altcoin season in 2025 and all that. I feel like there's going to be a surprise shock for the bears. And, I could see the narrative saying, the Fourier cycle is broken. Again, this is if Bitcoin gets a surprise move to the upside and gets near starts breaking its all-time high. I can see that narrative play out. But we'll see. We'll see how Bitcoin reacts, right? Like I said, we'll see how Bitcoin reacts here on the weekly. We'll see if we do get a relief rally here, if this is a dead cat bounce here. But this is the main target that we're all watching right here, that 100K level, 102, 103 level here with all these MAs. Yeah, last cycle, a lot of people were calling 100K super cycle. And we topped around 69, right? 65, 69. Same thing with Dogecoin. A lot of people were calling Dogecoin $1 Dogecoin. And speaking about the Fourier cycle, look, I think I have the indicator right here. Bitcoin halvings, right? You can see the Bitcoin halvings. So like I said, I mean it looks very well like Bitcoin wants to come down to its previous all-time high zone. Right? It definitely looks like that. Kind of the same thing that it did right here. Right? This was at a larger scale. We went back to the previous all-time high zone. And next halving is in 2028. 2028, only 2 years away. But yeah, guys, thank you guys for the likes. Absolutely killed it. 2-day live stream streak, so we'll see if I'm live again tomorrow. We'll see. But I have a video coming out on tomorrow on YouTube, so subscribe to my YouTube channel if you guys haven't. Last bear market, Bitcoin fell below the previous cycle top. Would it be part if it fell to 30K? Yeah, it went to 15K, right? So I mean that's a little, it's like 5K less than its all-time top, right? So, you know, 5K from its all-time top would be somewhere in the 50s, like I said, 55K possibly, right? If it goes to the 30s, I feel like the 30s is way too low. Like right here, right? If it goes to the 30s. Like I said, I could see it going to this zone, right? But we'll see. I mean, if it goes to the 30s, man, I'll sell everything. Thank you for the gold medal. Wow. Shout out to Angela. Thank you so much for the gold medal. And look, I appreciate everyone on here. You guys absolutely killed it the last 2 days, the last 2 live streams. I'm going to be more consistent going on live, giving you guys here my opinions, my updates. And again, if you guys haven't yet, check out BitUnix. This ends in about 2 days. Okay, if you want the futures bonus, check it out. It's in my profile link. Been using them for about a year plus, never had any problems. So take advantage of it if you want to put in trades. And again, you keep what you profit. So you don't really lose. You just keep what you profit. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys in the next live stream, guys. Peace. What's up, YouTube? How are you guys doing on YouTube? Let me know if you guys are here. And this is what makes me bullish, guys. I used to average like at least 10 to 20 viewers on YouTube. Right? And now I mean, I've been off live for a long time, that too, but you know, low views, it makes me bullish. It really does. Once we start to get more views and we're much higher, I'm going to be getting ready to sell. But I just wanted to thank you guys, the ones that are sticking through here. Appreciate all of you guys. And again, join my free Telegram, Cryptopolis8. It should be somewhere in the description. And if you want to trade, check out the pinned comment right there. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next live stream.